Look, whenever you do something for the very first time, you're bound to make mistakes. But boy, can these be costly when it comes to buying homes. So here's our insider tips on the most common mistakes first-time buyers make and how to avoid them. Our first home focus advice and guidance is brought to you in association with Skipton Building Society and is dedicated to giving you all the information you need when you're plunging into the property market as a newbie. So, the number one mistake is not checking it out. But seriously, not doing enough research is top of the list of gaffes that first-timers make. As Phil Spencer always says, knowledge is power. So you want to arm yourself with as much information as you possibly can. That might begin with researching the area. It's easy to get swept away by a property that looks perfect, but if it's not in the right location, living there could be more of a nightmare than a dream. There's a whole list of things you need to consider: noise and light pollution, planned developments nearby, transport connections, traffic, crime rates, what the neighborhood is like, schools and local services. So view the property at different times of day and get to know the area. Ask the seller what it's like to live there and chat to neighbours and local shopkeepers too. Next, you need to check out the property itself in detail. Everything from why the asking price is what it is to whether there are problems lurking under the roof. Compare the property to sold prices on the property portals. Does the price stack up when you look at what other places have sold for? Overpaying can be a serious mistake. Have there been problems with the property in the past? Don't be afraid to ask. The seller and the estate agent are legally bound to reveal this information. And you want to find out about the seller's position too. Have they found somewhere to move to? Is there a chain involved? On that subject, mistake number 3 is not making the most of your position as a chain-free first-time buyer. For many sellers, this is a big bonus. So when you make your offer in writing, stress your ability to move quickly or flexibly. It just might give you the edge when competing with other buyers or negotiating the price. Another way you can get ahead of the game is by getting as organized as possible before you house hunt. The biggest mistake on this front is not knowing what you can afford before you start looking. Hopeful buyers can believe they found their dream property, only to have their mortgage application rejected. So, get what's known as a mortgage in principle or decision in principle in place before you start searching. That way, you'll present yourself as a committed and well-prepared buyer, and you'll know exactly what you can afford. Speaking of mortgages, it's generally a mistake to go into the market without a mortgage advisor on your side. Getting the right deal is essential, and a mortgage professional will be able to advise you on one that's appropriate for you. It's easy to get distracted by what the short-term monthly repayments will be and overlook what it will cost you over the entire mortgage term. While you're getting that in place, we all know that it's tough to save. And with so many costs involved in moving, it can be tempting to load up your mortgage and save some of your deposit for exciting stuff like decorating. But the less you put down as a deposit, the narrower your choice of mortgage deals. And you can even price yourself out of more favourable rates too. While you could buy a home with a small or no deposit, it's good to put down something if you possibly can. The larger the deposit, the wider your choice of mortgage deals. Even though it might seem daunting, but you'll benefit in the long run from more manageable monthly repayments and probably save money in the long term. We talk about saving schemes to help you save in other videos, so do check them out. Now, while we're talking about mortgages, the next mistake can be a biggie and more common than you might think. Your mortgage lender will carry out a mortgage valuation to check that the property is worth what you're paying for it. But first-time buyers can end up thinking that this will do instead of a home survey. A home survey is carried out by an expert and checks the property for hidden problems like damp, rot, leaks, roof issues, or subsidence. Even with a new build, a snagging survey could be a good idea because there can be unexpected defects. Whether or not your survey uncovers work that needs to be done, many first-time buyers find themselves with properties that need improvement. This can be a good way to afford a home in the area you want, or to buy somewhere a little bigger. But it's essential to be realistic about how much it's going to cost to bring your new home up to scratch. The survey can be helpful in estimating these costs, but often you need the input of a builder or architect to help you gauge what you'll need to put aside for the work. In fact, there's a baffling array of bills in store when you buy your first home. When you're budgeting, don't forget to factor in things like council tax, utility bills, ongoing maintenance, and insurance costs. With so much to think about as you secure your first home, many new buyers forget or simply don't know that you become responsible for the building's insurance once you exchange contracts, not at the point you complete and get the keys. That means even if you haven't moved into the property and it becomes damaged, you're responsible. So get your home insurance lined up, ready for the day of exchange. Avoid these common first-time buyer mishaps and you'll soon be buying like a pro. Make sure you subscribe and keep the insider info coming your way.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Move IQ's First Home Focus podcast. We hope you found our tips and advice helpful. Remember, home ownership may be closer than you think, and we are here to support you every step of the way. So please don't forget to subscribe, rate and review our podcast so you never miss an episode. Until next time.